brothers and sisters, today we are reminded that it is our duty as Christians to always wrestle to live out the gospel in our lives. It is when we stop wrestling and instead compromise on our faith by doing something directly contrary to our faith because the culture tells us to, that we lose the battle. This wrestling, successful wrestling, is exemplified by St. Joseph in our gospel today. In today's gospel, we hear about Mary, who conceives a child by the power of the Holy Spirit. She conceived while still being a virgin. And we are told that St. Joseph was a righteous man, and upon finding out that Mary was with child, decided to divorce her quietly. So let's break this down. St. Matthew tells us that Joseph and Mary were betrothed, but didn't yet live together. St. Matthew reveals two of the stages of marriage in ancient Jewish culture. One is the betrothal, which is real marriage, meaning Joseph and Mary were truly and legally married. The second stage is when the wife, Mary, moves into the home of her husband, Joseph. St. Matthew tells us this stage had not yet happened. So Mary is found to be with child after they were married, but before they lived together. When St. Joseph finds out that Mary was with child through the Holy Spirit, his wrestling challenge begins. We are told that Joseph is a righteous man, meaning that he followed the Jewish law well. And here is what the law teaches. In the book of Deuteronomy, the law states that if a betrothed woman is found to have committed adultery with another man, she should be stoned to death. Now we are told in the gospel that Mary was found to be with child through the Holy Spirit. And Joseph knows this. Of course, Mary would have told him. But the law seems to be against her. And because of this, her life is in danger should anyone find out that she is pregnant. Thus, in wrestling to remain faithful, as well as to protect Mary, we are told that St. Joseph was unwilling to expose Mary to shame, and so intended to divorce her quietly. That way, her life would be spared, and she would not be shamed either by public trial in Jewish court or in Roman court. Furthermore, even if Joseph suspected adultery, his love for Mary would not allow her to get hurt, so that if he divorced her quietly, the law against her would not apply, so that he could both remain faithful to the law as a faithful Jew, as well as keep Mary safe. Next, we are told that an angel appeared to Joseph in a dream and told him not to be afraid to take Mary as his wife into his home. The message of the angel clearly proves to St. Joseph that there is nothing wrong, meaning in regard to the law, in regard to being a faithful Jew, with bringing Mary into his home, even though the child is not his biological child. St. Joseph was courageous in wrestling to do God's will. In fact, it was precisely because he wrestled that he was able to remain faithful and not compromise, even though the situation seemed to be hopeless, that he was able to receive the angel's message peacefully. While this is a long explanation for what's happening in our gospel today, the message is clear. Always wrestle in applying the gospel message to our lives, and in wrestling, always use the virtue of prudence in all the sticky situations in our lives. Do not give in to the easy way of the world around us, the world and the culture that tells us what to do, but instead, because those ways can cause us great harm, remain steadfast and righteous like St. Joseph, and seek to love God and our neighbors with everything we have, so that this Christmas season, the Christmas mystery of the birth of Jesus, can bring to light that which is the most important thing for us to protect: our faith and our loved ones. God bless you.